I'll finish.
Hola, amigos y amigas. Me llamo es Weston Enrico. Y bienvenidos a Taquiendo de Famosos de Peoples, the Mexican talking with famous people. I am here to talk about what it means, what it's like. Hi, Father.
Peggy Lee, not Julie London.
Oh, Peggy Lee. That was the other thing we were going to Google. We Googled two of the things.
Yeah.
We Googled Stan Kenton. I looked him up.
I'm sorry?
Come on in. Come in.
Yeah, come in.
You what?
I Googled Stan Kenton, and I Googled Crows versus Mockingbirds,
Yeah.
but I forgot the third thing. What was her name again?
Well, it was actually Ken's son.
No, I know.
The rattler in the mailbox.
Yeah, I looked that up. I'm saying,
Yeah,
I Googled that, but I'm asking you, what's this lady's name?
Peggy Lee.
Peggy Lee. Peggy Lee was.
And what's that song called?
Huh?
What's the song called?
That if that's all there is.
Cool.
It's great lyrics.
Let's listen to it. I'm going to mute this briefly. I want to listen to this. This is a song my dad recommended. I'll put the link here.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, you get all the lyrics. The lyrics are great.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah,
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
So
It's a good song.
Bette Midler had a very good version of it too. Remember Bette Midler?
yeah, I do
Okay.
for
She had
sure.
a good version of it.
Yeah, that's
Julie London's, I had that little mix up. She did Cry Me a River. Cry Me a River was Julie London's big hit. Cry me a river, 'cause I cried a river over you.
Julie London, Cry Me a River, huh? Okay. Because "Cry Me a River" is also a song by Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake also has a song called "Cry Me a River."
I wonder if it's the same.
I don't think so. Let me
knows?
let me listen
Who
to
knows?
it.
Cry me a river, cry me a river. I cried a river over you.
No,
That's
I don't
Julie
think so.
London.
No.
We'll listen to a second of it, but hold on a second. I gotta fix this over here. I should do that. Mute this for one more second. Give me another second to mute this, everybody.
'70s.
I know
Julie
of
London.
Julie. Yeah,
I
Julie
guess
London. I think.
Justin Timberlake is the troll.
Yes.
In that new Trolls whatever on tour.
Yeah.
Really?
He is.
I have
Yeah,
no idea
he
what
is the
that is.
voice of the troll.
What's her name? The woman who plays Polly. Justin Timberlake plays the one troll, and then plays the other one. Kendricks.
Oh, Anna Kendricks.
Yeah, she plays the other.
Oh.
All right. Well, I'll leave you to it, and that's Cry Me. I mean, That's All There Is a great song.
Oh my god!
It's great. And
I love that song. I love that song even before I knew I loved that song.
Okay.
So is the "Cry Me a River" by the London person. That's really good too.
I like it too. It's so 60s.
Julie,
and she's so pretty.
Did quite well for a while, and then I don't know what happened. Like any other singer, she sort of faded out. I guess aged out.
We should look her up too.
Okay.
All right, cool. Thanks, Dad.
Hi, Octavio Silva.
Look up Crows and.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, the territorial. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. You don't have to say.
A couple of good songs from my dad there. So we got from my dad a couple of good ones. The first one, which you knew already.
Oh my gosh, yeah, but I didn't know.
I think I'd heard that song before too. I'm
not
sure where.
I'm sure you did. You were positive. It sounded like you really did.
Well, I definitely the melody and the chorus part of Like Let's Keep Dancing.
That
Sounded very
that's
familiar to me.
cute. It could have been used in another TV show or something like that too. I have to stop doing that.
What, crossing your legs?
Yeah, because I'm not. I normally go like that, but like
your
my
knees
knee.
hurt. I see.
Yeah, so I have to train myself. Hey, what's up, everyone?
Yeah, at least you didn't lose what? Oh, your flip flops. So this stream is titled "Life as a Know-It-All," and it's inspired by my my watching Teal Swan videos earlier and realizing that one thing I find very off-putting about her is her know-it-all-iness, you know? And of course that made me reflect on the fact that, well, you know, Eric, you're pretty goddamn know-it-all.
Yeah. That was actually like my question right after.
Yeah.
What's up with this lighting?
I know, it's weird, huh? We need this light on. You don't like to have this light on. Or at least you should.
Oh, you know why? It's so white.
Right, but it's
better.
Yeah, I mean, it is so white, but also,
No, this is great. Wait. No, move it the other way that you had it.
Move the other way?
Other way.
You think that's better?
No. Yes.
Let me look at it.
That's
I now let me try it the
electric.
other way. I'll turn this one on too.
Oh yeah. Looks like perfect lighting.
I agree with you, Angantir. Teal Swan is a T-Dom. Yeah, I know it's an amazingly good deal,
Good
but
price.
if you know, it's a shockingly good deal.
You don't have to say what you paid. I already proved it showed up on him.
Okay, so life is a know-it-all. It's something I'd like to adjust a bit, I guess, is I'd like to make some tone adjustments to to move through life less like that. And specifically, I guess I want to talk out the question of how does one go about being on the internet and telling people that you're right, saying like basically, and anytime you are, what do you have in your hand? Oh, wait,
Yeah, I cleaned it for you. I thought it'd be nice. I like being nice to you. It makes me feel good too.
thank you, darling. I like receiving niceness from you. Can I see that lighter? Oh, wait, there's my lighter. Never mind. No, thank you, after all. I found it. Right there, barely within reach. Okay, so I will address this issue of the expenditure of money for typings and such, and what my thoughts about the general thing are, which are in a second. But I want to address this idea of adjusting tone a little bit more. Rachel answered a question in the video that I thought was pertinent, which was I asked her if she were to do a better job, how would she do a better job? And Rachel indicated compassion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she seems, what makes you think she doesn't seem like, why do you view her as not adequately compassionate?
Because I think she thinks, I think she sees things from her own frame. And a lot of people have gone through what she's gone through. So she's she's relatable, but she's also kind of preachy about it. And that's where she loses me. Like, she does, and I will give her credit. She does say, "Look, this is how I live. You don't have to live this way either." But when it kind of like is pushing for like a preferred way of living, I just question
It's normative.
that.
There's a normative quality to the whole thing.
Oh,
She's kind of going like, "This is how you ought to be." The
Hey, CJ O'Connell.
the other thing to note about
I miss Eileen too.
what I mean by this is her videos have a topic and are advocacies generally, which is to say they have a point they're trying to make, and this is how you ought to meow.
Yeah. She does have good advice. First of all, I literally support her because I bought a product that she made, and I have, when I was going through what I consider a dark night of the soul, I listened to a lot of her videos, and a few of them helped, but she does have like this like kind of coldness to her. Like, I don't feel like I can get really like, she hugs people and stuff, but like, I just feel like it's hard for her to relate to other people unless you can relate to her.
Well, I see in her words the same approach towards one's own past that ENFJs have, except of course CS1 is not an FE dom, she's a TE dom. Now the 8 slot FE is not terrible necessarily. It can be quite purposefully effective. It's not warm though usually.
No, it's not warm. There's almost a scientific study, like life is a scientific study to be involved with and have fun with. Like, I think she likes to have fun. I used to follow her Instagram. She travels a lot. She likes to spread happy stuff, I guess.
Well, the thing about CS1 is, yes, she's in NI tool. She's FI fourth. TI ignoring. And she presents basically, it's like life advice, but instead of from an ENFJ perspective, just let your past go. It's ENTJ perspective, which is your past is this toxic thing that you're carrying around.
Right.
It's a little different.
And a lot of people can relate to that. Like, I tell Eric that there was this one conference that she had where
if you have nothing better to do, just for kicks, you may want to pull up Fever by Peggy Lee.
Okay, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Pretty good song, too.
All right, cool.
I wonder.
What were you saying, Rachel? I'm sorry, you got interrupted.
It's all right. So I don't think it was that.
Okay, so I wanted to say
Big of a deal. I guess you talk about something else.
There was something I wanted to say, Curious Kyra, from a previous comment she made or something that I'm not going to pull it back. I have no idea what it was. Okay, so Taylor Van Amber says Rachel is not an blank. Okay. I'm not sure what I wanted to say. Something. Anyway, being a know-it-all. Well, here's the deal. Obviously, if you're going to be on a YouTube channel and say things as, here's information worth hearing for some reason. Now, you might be on a YouTube channel instead that says, here's a piece of entertainment for you. Like a lot of Frank James videos are designed to be a piece of entertainment for you. And that's a very different kind of engagement, because It's basically the entertainer is saying, please give me your attention, and pleasing your attention with entertainment is my goal. A spiritual luminary like T.L. Swan, she is asking. She has asking inherently a different kind of relationship with her audience. There's a presumption in those videos that her audience needs to learn something from her, and that she has greater spiritual wisdom than they do.
That's the problem. She's.
Well, I mean, it's going to be a while until Rachel stops coughing, so I'll just pick up the thread here. Go ahead. You ready?
That's the problem. That's her problem.
Yeah, that's her problem.
She knows how to market things really well, though. She makes great videos with like good like stock footage. She's very even toned and honest. I mean, I have her cards. So.
The other thing, though, about Teal Swan is, of course, she's a know-it-all who's very much projecting a lot of her own frame biases and experiences onto other people without really being aware that she's doing it. And in part, that's because she doesn't have. Well, she's not a TI user. You know? That's basically what it was.
She's definitely ENTJ.
ENTJ.
She sells a lot of stuff. She has, so like, okay.
She got 700,000 subscribers.
So this pattern you can buy as leggings, as a hoodie. I like it as leggings personally. Like, I think it looks like a funky style. You can have this as a legging. You guys, a hat. She like markets her stuff really well.
He has a dominatrix face.
Yes, she does.
Okay. Well, so okay. Now look, here's the thing. So doing a kind of disinterested calculus of my own responses to Teal Swan and stuff, I would say, okay, Eric, so it appears that you're trying to position this as kind of a person who's engaging as an equal versus a person who's engaging as a spiritual luminary. But at the same time, I can't help but go, if you could just be focused like that, you know, you can make 10-minute videos about some things, take a couple of little stock images in there and do that consistently. I mean, I get a little baffled at myself sometimes because did I mention to everybody on this stream that my appeal was over, like approved or whatever? I won one of my appeals on one of my strikes.
You won the appeal.
Did I mention that to everybody? I now only have a warning. I used to have a warning and a strike. Now I only have a warning.
Mm-hmm.
So my hate speech one is gone. They have agreed with me that I was not guilty of hate speech.
Yep.
And thank you, YouTube.
It's the one that we really care.
Credit where credit is due. You were right about it, and I was not. And thank you for agreeing with me.
Hambone? Who?
I don't know who you're talking to, Curious Kyra. I never indicated that. If you think I'm talking to me, no more back to Hitler chats. No, but I definitely am not guilty of hate speech. Have not engaged in it, and am not going to ever engage in it because I don't like hate speech or groupism of any sort. I'm strongly opposed to those things.
You could have just pulled out.
You pulled emotional expression and mother.
Mother's Day is coming up.
It
is on Sunday. And we both have mothers. And I will be giving my mom a call.
Yeah. I got to do some for the too. Reminds me.
Mm-hmm. We both do.
Oh, you had a weird experience of groupism earlier down in the election. Please do tell, girl.
Yeah, I'm curious. So,
here's your card. So, We should get a green screen, Rachel.
Yeah.
I wonder how much it is.
Probably not that much. on
Probably not that
Amazon.
much.
Yeah. Frank James has one, so I would assume he's really frugal if he's an INFJ.
So is Teal Swan. Teal Swan has a green screen as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I was in a dog breeding group, and a lady's dog was giving birth. It was crying. I said, take it to the vet. And everyone freaked out. Don't tell her what to do. Is there more to this? I'm going to assume that you're continuing the story. Okay. Now, additionally, okay, so I'm getting off topic a lot, but this whole know-it-all thing is something that's running through my head a lot because I'm aware of the fact that what I've done is something equivalent to what Teal Swan has done. Namely, if it's $15, I just give them. Sure. I don't know. I always thought it was going to be like some big deal, but maybe not. She did end up taking her dog there. So what's the groupism aspect of that, Ghostwriter? When I say groupism, what I mean is people trying to find a specific category of people to blame, reduce, right. So if somebody in that group that the thing you're talking about said, it's you beagle owners. That you guys are the problems. You beagle owners are all alike. You all own beagles. And you're all bad because of it or something. That would be groupism. Okay, that's what they're doing. That is weird. It's like people, and it just shows. It goes to show you that it's like this is it's a vice like drugs or gambling or something. It is sometimes good and okay every once in a while to actually identify a real group who's a real problem, but they're not going to be a category of people like that. It's going to be a different kind of thing. But the point is, people totally have this propensity to get some sort of gratification from reducing a complex problem to there are the demons over there, and to doing attribution bias, fundamental attribution bias, that things are bad because somebody intended them to be bad or they were intended to turn out this way. It's all over the place. The world's rampant with it. All right, so now I want to go on to the topic of somebody who said $100 for typing, and it's not clear if, in fact, that person was trying to say that's a lot or not. Although the number of question marks would tend to suggest that that person was. And Countess jumped to the defense of that price. So I want to talk a little bit about that sort of thing. I am obviously, if you wanted to depict me poorly, if you want to depict me distracted. What was I talking about? Fucking Eric. It's because I saw that little thing right there at Countess Road, and I got it. Stole
did
my
I.
attention. Stole my
So did
attention away.
Same thing.
Let me pull his phone word, maybe I'll remember where it is.
Kitty, you let us know.
Right. Thank you, Curious Kyra. $900 thing.
It's worth the $100.
If they wanted to pick me poorly for charging for typing $100, then the way to do that, I guess, would be to say that either simply that it's not a product for which you'd pay $100, or that I guess my time. I mean, I don't even quite understand the critique. After all, it's like I'm charging whatever I'm charging, in part because I want there to be a barrier to the quantity of typings. I don't want to spend all my time typing people. I don't mind it. If I don't do it for a while, I kind of enjoy it. It's something that I would do periodically for free, I guess, if I never typed anybody for money. I do it for free occasionally. But it's not like live streaming. Live streaming is something that I find myself doing all the time, even though it's totally unprofitable. In fact, a lot of times I'll turn off monetization on live stream because I don't want to get in trouble for something that I don't even know I'm going to get in trouble for. Like, YouTube's got me skittish, you know? It's got me like making efforts to not get in trouble for things that I don't know about. Okay, the point of view is you're charging $100 for something that can't be proven. There's a written test form for free online, etc. And the answer to that, Octavia Silva, is no, I'm not. I'm charging $100 for an hour of my time and the application of my powerful intuition and insight to you, and that's easily worth $100.
Yeah. You said if you, like, I don't know, I remember you saying to me, like, if you thought it was, like, wrong, you would not mind, like, discussing it and stuff. If I had any questions, blah, blah, blah.
Right. The other thing is, when you're talking about like a test you can take online for free or gets typed by somebody else for free or whatever, first of all, anytime somebody does something for free, they are going to half-ass it a bit if they do it for money too. So when I typed Octavia Silva, I only spent about half an hour. We had it. Octavia Silva doesn't want it published, which is fine. I didn't even record it. So I mean, look, YouTube is currently trying to fix this fucking thing as best they can. They've got a new system set up where you self-report what's in your videos, which is good when you upload them. The other good thing about that hate speech one being taken away was that was a 5-year-old video. You can't expect me to go back to all the videos retroactively and apply their new standards to them. I can't rewatch all those videos.
Man.
I'm feeling sociable. I'm feeling chatty. I'm a lady in a chair. Or is that a dude?
It's a lady.
It's a lady in a chair. I got a sword. I'm going like this. Hey.
Yeah.
With my hand like this.
Yeah, you have been.
Hey. See? Hey. That's what that
that's so
hand
good.
motion says.
That's me. That's me. I'm a lady in a chair.
A lady in a chair. Yes, I am. A lady in a chair can spam.
I'm this too.
Oh, you got the same one.
I'm a lady in a chair.
Lady in a chair. What?
I'm thinking ISCP.
I strongly encourage anybody who wants to get a free typing from somebody to get a free typing.
Yeah.
From
Yeah,
whomever.
because that's how a lot of them learn. They see, as I'm talking about this, the full card. That's how they learn. they do it free first, and then they gain their confidence, and people start donating.
The other thing is, I've had a lot of people come to me after being typed by DSP or CSJ, and they've already paid somebody else first and weren't satisfied. So they can come pay me and they leave satisfied. Usually, such a person is going to be a TI heavy person who's been given some bullshit non-explanations by TE people and is dissatisfied with those. Eric, how often would you say that people who you do typing sessions with are correct in their self-typing? Well, most of the people I do typing sessions with don't have a firm self-typing. They have a couple of possible things. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that percentages question. I mean, that'd be a percentage. Like, how often are they correcting their self-typing? It would depend on the type. I would guess that, like, this is what makes it weird. So, real INTPs are probably going to be correct in their self-typing, but there'll be a lot of fake ENTPs too, because other types that are not ENTPs will be incorrect in their self-typing and will self-type as INTPs. So.
It's good to question it. I did.
So if you are somebody who knows you're an INTP, that could mean you're actually an INTP, or it could mean you're not an INTP. That's the problem with that from a third party's perspective. And the INTP, who's actually an INTP, is so attempting to be fully self-critical or whatever that they're likely to factor that in. It's complicated, I guess.
But yeah.
Well, I use INTP because that's the most recent person that I've typed that's mistyped themselves and seemed quite attached to that mistyping. And that was an ENTJ who mistyped himself as the INTP.
Oh. I saw the wizard was wearing the magician was wearing headbands, and I wanted to wear a headband.
Cool.
He's got one of those sports ones.
I mean, I never really have to have that argument with anybody. Nobody really tries to tell me, like, you shouldn't charge so much or what you charging. The part of the reason why I don't get much of that is I've developed enough experience at this stuff. By experience alone, I can make claims of legitimacy. Even if you don't agree with the way I think about it or talk about it or whatever, it's pretty difficult to deny that I've typed a lot of people and that the way I've typed them has been interactive. It's not been one directional. So DSP might say he's typed a lot of people. Well, he's looked at a lot of video submissions and rendered decisions on that. That's not a typing. That's it's a impression of a person's affect. A person's affect and their identity are different things. When you're watching a video of somebody, there's no interaction back and forth. You're only seeing their affect, and you're not able to jostle that affect to glean information from how it responds to jostling. Thanks. We just did a bunch of laundry. I put a bunch of laundry away. Rachel did some laundry. We've been doing some cleaning. Me too. Can I eat the other part of your leftover sandwich?
Sure thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
She must have already eaten it.
How long do you think it would be? 2 minutes?
Well, put in for 1 minute, turn them over, and give them, hot there at that point. Maybe give them another minute. Turn them over.
Sounds good.
I think you finished your rest of your sandwich.
OMG.
Did you? I think you finished the rest of your sandwich.
I did. Huh.
What's the best knife for this? Probably this one. Coming through?
Oh, and you are Peggy Lee.
All right, so I'm going to cut this.
Cotton cheese. ISTP would make a joke out of that.
I'm going to have non-alcoholic beer, cheese, pickles, and chips for
Dinner.
dinner.
I am having a pickle in honor of Snooky from the Jersey Shore.
Does she like pickles?
Yeah. She's good.
She's a pickle liker?
Mm-hmm.
Pickle liker. It's a good insult.
Thanks to Octavio Silva, I was inspired by the Magician tarot card.
You know what my dad taught me a long time ago when I was a little child? Always cut away from yourself.
Thanks, Horse Mumbler, and that's the truth.
Hey, it's Mumblestein.
The cheese just looks so good.
Oh, this is the best. Yeah, this is a cheese to really write home about. This is not a knife to really write home about.
That happens. Especially with good cheese.
Tillamook, baby loaf. Baby loaf. Oh, I've got a baby loaf.
I'm definitely not a baby loaf.
No.
There's a good chance I am an ISTP.
Who?
Me.
Oh. Shocking.
I did want to be a ninja.
I think the headband makes you turn into an ISTP.
Fuck.
It's one of those ISTP.
How did you know?
headbands. Yeah. You want to go turn your hamburger over?
Yeah. See how I'm sitting here? I'm not doing anything. So he told me to do it. And I'm an ISTP, so I'm going to continue doing what I was doing, despite what both Eric.
This will be enough cheese to start. Now I'm going to need to wrap up this with some sort of saran wrappy thing. But I'm going to do that after I eat, I guess. I'll just stand it up on its bottom for right now. Here's the thing about people getting typed by me and whether or not it's worth it or whatever. Is it worth it? Well, that's going to be entirely dependent on whether the person thinks it was worth it after the fact, frankly. The meaningful question that people don't ever ask is it worth it to me? And yeah, it's worth it at $100. And the thing is, I like I like the transactional nature of that relationship, the money kind of thing. And because of what it does for me, motivationally, so to speak, getting paid makes me try to do a very good job, especially because I'm not getting paid by a corporation. I'm not getting paid by the government, like when I was a public school teacher. I'm not getting paid by like a commission or something. I'm getting paid by individual people who are paying their hard-earned money to me to give them an hour of my time and make that worthwhile for them in a way that lasts beyond the duration of that hour. If I can do that, it's worth it, because people spend $100 on experiences all the time, and some of them have less lasting impact on you than others. Are you all have charcuterie? Charcuterie? What is that? What does that mean? I've heard the word. Does it mean like snack?
We live in the world of snacks.
We do. But I want to know what the word charcuterie means. So what is it? Charcuterie?
Parsippany?
No.
Parsippany?
Charcuterie. Charcuterie is like ham and sausages? What, pork?
Bark, bark, thing.
Oh, combination of cured.
And I'm gonna throw it out.
What?
I think
You have
that's-
to heat it up more.
I know, I didn't heat it at all.
Oh, it doesn't work if you don't heat it.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, pour it out and start over. Yeah, if I had meats to go along with this, I just have cheeses, pickles, and chips. But if I had meat to go along with this, then I would call this a plowman's lunch.
Hi. There is one Biscopio the sweethearted cake. Oh, I love you. I love you so much. I feel like I didn't get to see much. Oh yeah, laundry. Thank you for the reminder.
It's a good question, IAG Labs. IAG Labs asked, Eric, so about NI6. You say INTPs countervalue NI, and well, it's obvious you're comfortable incorporating magical thinking big. Didn't you used to not? And if so, did you countervalue it? Yes, I do think NI relates to magical thinking. Countervalue is kind of the wrong term.
Go out, go out, go out, go out.
The thing is,
He's out there. It's the
I don't exactly countervalue TE explicitly. For example, it is the case that if somebody were to come to me and say, would you like me to implement all this TE stuff for you? And then you can be more successful? I'd be like, yeah, sure, that'd be great. So when I say countervalue, what I mean is, really, I'm always, when left to my own devices and have no pressure on me by circumstance or person to behave one way or the other, I'm always prioritizing extroverted intuition when it comes in conflict with extroverted thinking. And as a consequence, it plays out as I countervalue TE. Well, then, Bob, you should write the library a letter informing them that they have $300 in Nympha Estrada fees.
Mm. Mm, 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 mm.
Good cheese, right?
Good cheese.
That baby loaf?
Mm.
You can't go wrong with a baby loaf.
You can't.
Everybody knows it's true. You can't go wrong with a baby loaf. Everybody knows it's true.
Okay, here's the question. Where do you get it from?
Well, we got this from, where did we go to the source? Ralph's? Did we go to Ralph's?
I don't know.
Where did we go yesterday?
We've been all over.
We went to the store yesterday, right?
I think we went to the store today too, though.
Or we unloaded all that stuff.
Yesterday.
And went to the store down in Temple City we went to?
Mm-hmm. Yep. The Ralph's there.
Okay. Yeah, that's where I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know, I think what you should do is provide the library an itemized list of expenses you've already directed resources towards related to the library books thing and how it totals over the amount they're finding you, so it's a wash and she should have to pay them anything.
Yeah.
They might buy it, you never know. The thing about something like that is that you go in there on offense instead of defense. It might not work, but they'll probably respond to it.
Who?
Anybody. So like I was saying, as a strategy for dealing with the library thing, if they're telling you got $200 in library fees, you could go in. There's a couple different approaches. Probably your best bet in that instance is to not do what I'm saying. Probably your best bet in that instance is to go be like, I am so sorry, could you blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You could try that kind of thing instead first. But
They could be honest and be like, I'm forgetful about returning books. Okay, that's legit.
But you know,
Please, blah blah blah.
if you're gonna be adversarial at all with some party, like, and I'm not sure that's the case in this instance, but just say like somebody's giving you unnecessary pushback. Well, I'd much rather go on offense than defense.
Yeah.
It's a very satisfying little meal here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and the cheese. Baby loaf? You're my baby loaf. Oh my goodness, you really are.
Mm-hmm.
I know the Fritos were over here. I would have eaten the Fritos.
The funny thing is, I saw you pouring those things. I thought the exact opposite thing. I thought, I forgot of the Cheetos. I remember those were pouring those something.
We are funny. Ghost Rider wants the baby loaf. That's so cute.
Thanks to his mom for the warm introduction. Okay. Now, do you want any more of this cheese before I put it away? Okay.
I just a slice.
I don't like this knife though. I'm gonna get a better knife.
Lucky you. Oh, I forgot about the non-alcoholic.
You know, but you gotta do it
No. I'm good. Thank you, baby.
One thing I get a little frustrated with myself about is not taking advantage of some good SI experiences. Like, I really wish that every time I sat down and drank one of these non-alcoholic beers, I just directed my attention towards appreciating how delicious and wonderful it is to drink it. Because it's like they're so good, and sometimes when I'm talking, and I drink the whole thing and realize I'm paying attention to drinking it at all, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Here you go, my precious wonder.
Thank you. Maybe.
And I'm gonna go put this away.
I was thinking of you working at a deli. My aunt and uncle met at a deli.
Sure, I'm gonna have to go inside to get a Ziploc bag for the
Oh, jeez.
community. Yeah. Wow, we have burned through these pickles. This is our pickle
Oh my
we had
gosh,
yesterday.
this is for me.
You want one?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yum, put your dough.
We got 3 pickles left though. All right, now I know they're so good. The thing
They
is,
are.
I've tried all kinds of. Every time I see like some boutique brand of pickles at the store, or whatever, I often get it. Nothing beat Clausen. Clausen's are the best. This is the best pickles.
Mm-hmm.
Mark my words,
Mm-hmm.
pickle lovers.
Running Fox. Is that Sailor Moon as your icon? What up, Taylor Van Amber? Why out in the rain? I get OCD. I catch myself. Oh, cool. I love Sailor Moon. That's a legit thing that happens with artists, I think. Curious Kyra. But definitely with musicians. I get like if it's associated with something positive or loving, I get a little bit like obsessed about it. So feng shui. When an area of a room is not in balance, like it says that you're out of balance too. So I was trying to manifest like a partner. And at one point I was like moving everything around, but like nothing was getting done. And I would make sure that everything was in twos. And then all of a sudden I was like, what the fuck? I'm buying all this shit that I like really do not need. like just like manifest something and be like, I'm being a little too OCD when I'm spending a little bit too much money on stuff that I really don't need. So that's like, I was obsessed. Got it back away. I was obsessed with my phone for a while too. Like, once I had an iPhone, like that was it. And especially when I upgraded to the iPhone 5, like I really, really liked it. And one time I was at my friend's house and it cracked, it shattered, and I couldn't talk to anyone for like a month, and it was so freeing. And now I have a different relationship with my phone. Like I feel I don't need it as much as I used to feel like I needed it. So as within and as without, for sure. Taylor Van Amber, are you saying moi or makeup artist? That you're a makeup artist. I didn't see what you had to say. Yeah, pretty but empty. You know, like I don't know. I soon after I was like getting back into stuff that I love, like crystals and like just being me. But I do believe that having symmetry in your room and having a certain flow to it does help. What about if I can? Yeah. I'm a messy person. See how hard that was for me to actually like admit, like I definitely am messy. Like my room is usually a mess. And then I'll go and I'll clean it and like I'll go through things and I'll donate things and stuff. But it usually goes right back to messy. Hi, Hambone. It's good to see you. Gross. I have like a million canvases and I haven't painted them. I just think it's laziness at this point or just not feeling it at the moment. I had a friend who did that. He was an artist, ESFP artist, and he just like couldn't motivate himself to draw or paint, even though he's really good at it. And this cheese, this buns.
One phenomenon that happens sometimes is that people will be most attracted to the art form that they are not most naturally talented at. And this is definitely true for me and my friend Dave Porter alike. Dave Porter is he's naturally good at drawing and stuff like that. He's a natural visual artist, but he directs all of his energy towards playing music, and he does not have very good pitch. Really, he didn't used to anyway. It's gotten better and better and better. In contrast, I actually have a good natural talent at music in the pitch department, but regardless, it's not my most naturally talented medium. I'm most naturally talented at writing, and yet I direct very little attention at that and almost all my attention at music.
I don't have OCD. I said I had an OCD moment and that I was obsessed with feng shui for a while, and then I found it unhealthy, and I was like, okay, no. I need to chill out a little bit. That's when I get into my tri-type. I start to get nitpicky about things and wanting things to be perfect, but you know. Can you help me with this?
Hamburger?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want any of it?
I can't finish it. Thank you, baby. Thank you. What this headband also reminds me of? Royal Tenenbaums. The tennis guy. Yeah. I like that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize for all the eating instead of talking, but I gotta get this food in me.
They've been good about talking amongst themselves, I have to say.
Hambone's not Judas. Okay, look, more like this. I'm Jesus, you're Judas, and Hambone is the guy who's saying, "Come on, Jesus, I can see what's gonna happen here. I just know this isn't gonna end well. We gotta get rid of this Judas guy."
I'm Mary Magdalene.
Mm-hmm. You're my virgin.
Mm-hmm. No, but like, I'm not sure she was a virgin. Not the Saint Mary.
Oh.
Not the mother. I'm the other one who like washed his feet. They were like buds.
Oh.
She's supposed to be. She's known as a prostitute. I'm not sure. I'm not sure she actually was. They just call her that. Goo goo badoo.
Oh, my sex life, fantastic.
So satisfied.
So good. That was better than it's ever been before.
I love it when he ejaculates.
I don't mind that either. Okay, I am done eating this, and well, Cloud, you're only like 20 years old or something, right? I went 4 years without having any kind of intimacy with a woman after college, something like that. From my senior year of college through 3 years after that, or something. You know.
I lost my virginity to a boyfriend, and I made a promise to myself that that's how it was going to happen. That it was going to be at the right time with the right person that I was comfortable with, that we both really wanted it, that we talked it out. And I had a very nice first experience with losing my virginity. And I was I think either 16 going on 17 or 17 going on 18.
For me, it was Christmas Eve, 1982. I wanted that. Yeah, I wanted that special toy, and Santa wanted more. I said, "No, Santa." He said, "Come on." I said, "Are you really going to give me that toy?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "All right, go for it." So, it was a little traumatizing.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
And it took a long time for him to be able to get his penis to my hole because of all the big jelly of belly thing. Kept pushing me out of the way. Eventually, Rudolph came down the Chimney and said, "What the fuck's taking you so long, Santa?" So anyway, that's a true story. Yeah, true story.
I believe it.
Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't believe that story?
I'm such a slow eater.
That's
You
why
know-
they call you Sergeant Slowies.
Yeah.
I said, "It's a holly jolly Christmas. Santa taking me from behind. I don't care if there'll be snow. I just have peace of mind. I can be a super naughty in the upcoming year. 'Cause Santa's gone and I have taken it up my rear. Hey ho, Santa ho, what you trying to say?" That's my Christmas song. After I lost my virginity to Santa,
No
Christmas
kidding.
Eve, 1982.
Wrong.
What he
Did
did.
he steal Christmas from you?
Well, he initiated this whole process by saying, "Do you also have milk and cookies in your pants?" I said, "What? I'm confused by that question."
Well, why would I hide them there? Although, now thinking about it, I would like to hide milk and cookies down my pants if I could and not let people know.
Well, here's the problem. Ever since, every time I've encountered somebody who does have milk and cookies in their pants, it's a trigger for me. Which is just about every other person has milk and cookies.
No, CJ O'Connell, it's the cow jumped over the moon. Cloud doesn't control the moon.
Cloud jumped over the cow that jumped over the moon, but the cow was back on Earth when he jumped over it, so it's not very impressive. It was also a very small cow, and he had a ladder.
I am ISTP.
Your ISTP is fuck.
Mhm.
I'm ESFJ as fuck. Maybe you have to put Eric's name many times in your message to get noticed.
Maybe you
The
got
likelihood of being noticed by a tertiary FE user increases exponentially the more you mention it. I mean, I think it's got to be the reality is if people put a comment that's either directed towards me, like I have a question for you or something, then it really depends on how interesting the thing that's being said is to whether I read it out loud. Most of the things I don't read out loud, it seems like they're comments between other people in the chat to each other. I typically won't read those things out loud or respond to them directly. Like Nympha Estrada says he melted with his bare hands. Interesting thing to say. I'm wondering what she's talking about. But I don't know what she's talking about because I don't keep that much up with the chat, It's hard to both keep up with the chat and respond to anything from the chat. Because once I'm addressing something from the chat, then obviously my attention is focused on that. So, yeah. To have a YouTube channel is, to some extent, to be a know-it-all. If you're talking about something other than making entertainment, like I was getting at before. If making entertainment is not your purpose of your video, you're trying to be explanatory, expositional, and so on, then you're going to be a bit of a know-it-all, at least in the subject you're talking about. Looking for this week. Or else, why would people listen to you? Now, I'm by both TI and TE standards, I'm qualified to talk about certain things as an expert. Mostly, as far as what I'm most qualified to talk about from any reasonable metric, it's debate stuff. So, I feel like if I were to have a channel that was explicitly about debate concepts, argumentation, and stuff, that I would basically be given a pass for the know-it-alliness because it's a specialized enough set of knowledge that I'd just be understood as an expert who gave out specialized knowledge. With cognitive functions, it's a lot more challenging because there's not any general consensus on what the frame is here. In fact, if there, to the extent that there is general consensus, it seems to be the wrong one, which is that, well, there are right bits to everybody's things, and it's just everybody just take what pieces you can use from whichever amount. Right, it's that kind of mush. So. Effexor. You go, Eric, tell Countess to unblock me like a sad little teenager. Did he say that? I don't think he said it this time. Yeah, doing it that way hasn't negatively impacted me that much. So, I would say I feel like less of a know-it-all now than I used to be. Which is to say, I feel like I actually know more now, I guess. But I feel part of that increased knowledge is a better sense of perception management, or perhaps simply I am happier and more at peace and self-confident or whatever, and that plays out like that. I don't think I come across quite as know-it-all as maybe I once did, because I gotta say, Countess, I don't think typing requires you to use more oxygen than not typing with your fingers. Imagine waking up from a 10-year coma and discovering this live stream is your first piece of media ever. Oh, you mean he's a waste of oxygen? I see. Okay. He does tend to direct oxygen towards things that don't need it, such as rocks, which I guess will qualify as wasteful. Imagine you were stuck on an island with Eric. Okay. I'm by myself on an island. That's sad for me. I need a friend. I mean, that's not the case, Cloud. Would you say, Rachel, that I spend 10 hours a day talking to you about my TI frameworks? I mean, most of the time when we're not live streaming, I'm not talking about. I guess I do talk about cognitive functions fairly often.
Yeah, but so do I.
So do you. I mean, it's not like I hope I'm not just sort of lecturing you about shit. Am I?
What?
I'm just responding to a chat. A bit of an FE point that seemed to have a little merit to it, maybe. That is the topic of the video anyway, which is me being a know-it-all.
Oh, well, you are. I mean,
Yeah.
look. When we're fighting, of course, like, it matters. But when we're not, it's like, whatever. It's mostly whatever.
Well, I'm thinking about it mostly.
It's hard. You are right a lot of times, but it's nice to be heard every once in a while when, like, the other person has an idea that might be opposed to yours.
Yeah. I mean, I try to do a good job of listening, but I'm not necessarily listening for common ground. I mean, the reason I'm thinking about it at all is again, noting my own reaction to Teal Swan and finding her, finding myself wanting to take her down a notch or something. Like, you are too full of yourself. I don't like your know-it-all attitude. And of course, I recognize that I give off something in the same category of thing. And I think that the way I sort of justify that to myself or differentiate is that I go, well, I'm approaching everybody from a fundamentally egalitarian angle, which is to say, I have no problem talking to you directly and affording you the essential equality of discursive, of operating the same discursive frame. Problem when you're good at arguing is that it's easy to disregard other people's viewpoints because they're bad at expressing their argument. Well, that's why I always tell people it's critically important that they be willing to work with me rather than against me. The air conditioner, that it works, but we don't use it because it goes out. It goes into the garage.
Sorry.
That's okay. I moved this closer to this too. So, okay. What was I talking about? I was answering. Oh yeah, the sports chariots thing. That's why I tell people it's important if they don't want to be adversarial with me, they need to try to work with me, and I will work with them as well. Like, I don't want it to be zero sum, and that's the problem. That's why I was so frustrated with the debate against Jack. Is it was the ultimate in negative sum process. In other words, he was on defense the whole time. I was on offense, but there's nothing decisive being done about anything.
There's no mediation.
It was just an adversarial exercise. So that's exactly the sort of thing that I'm not really interested in doing anymore. It's my job. So I have a different attitude towards discourse in real life than in competition. When you do competitive discourse, you come to understand that discourse between people trying to communicate shouldn't be competitive. That's a different thing.
See,
it's
that,
not a
and
game.
I don't
Then
know
you're trying
that.
to communicate.
Yeah.
You're either trying to communicate or you're playing the game. If you're playing the game, you're trying to win. That's fine because everyone's playing. They know they're playing the game. If I go into a debate round, I've chosen to enter this boxing match. So of course it's okay to hit people in the face, but most of the time you're not in a boxing match, So you shouldn't hit people in the face. But the problem is, a lot of people, they think that debate is for communication purposes, and more specifically that it's for statuses. Like, well, I'm going to win or lose the debate, if we're going to be right or wrong, stuff like that. Debate is a process of hopefully parsing away wrongnesses, retaining things that have good consistency and operationalizability. So
Yeah. Yeah, that is really what it's about.
So, it's a weird sort of thing for an ENTP to say if you look at the type descriptions or whatnot, that the discourse should be cooperative or dialectic rather than adversarial, especially when the reality is I'm very, very often adversarial in get interactions with people who I perceive as wrong, still to this day, and probably will always be. But I don't like to do that for its own sake. The whole universe is just a dream or a simulation. So does that mean that every dream or simulation is a whole universe, or is property not communicated like that? So, and of course, that's the alpha quandary in general, is this position of our position on leadership. When I left my last real formal job where I had an employer, like a straight up, boss employee relationship, was Kudos when I was the director of that place. And that was like a big job and whatever. When I left there, it was called Kudos College of Youth Leadership. When I left there, I had a strong anti-leadership position, which was it is fundamentally bad for people to attempt to lead other people. That we are teaching people to relinquish their own agency and to not make choices and decisions, but instead be to place the locus of their autonomy outside of themselves. That's what I used to think. I now understand it differently. I see things a lot differently. I see us all as having variants of the same struggles, basically. We all have strengths, we all have weaknesses, we all have insecurities, we all have areas of stronger self-concept. And we all have our temptations, both metaphysically and physically. So like in items, I see them as being tempted towards universalist explanations where they don't belong. Rachel probably sees me as being tempted towards ignoring obvious things like, hey, we should move, or shit like that. It's a temptation of a sort,
Mm-hmm.
And both those temptations are framed in cognitive functions as the ignoring function. Well, she's ignoring possibilities. I'm ignoring what's right in front of my face.
Yeah, but you know what the thing is that the more time we spend together, the more I understand what NE is. So like I see it more and I participate in it more. Like the more I talk to myself, like when I'm in the bathroom, she's playing in and out.
Yeah, I know. She distracted me. I opened the door for her. She can go in that way. It's ridiculous. She can just stop this.
That's Daddy's pee. Yeah. Yes, girly baby boo. I love you. You have the hole now, but we're not even sure if he'll make it bigger. You got that? You know what we're saying? So take it easy with the in and out, kitty, please. You got the hole right now.
I like that quote, Cloud, but I don't think you quite understand.
Oh my god, that's so effy polar.
Or super NTP. I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, the sort of thing. I might say something like that, and everybody not get that it's a meta joke.
Hey, babe, have you seen the Social Network? We should see that. Can we watch that tonight?
Should I?
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's all about that, and maybe you'd be able to just hype him because he plays a great. He might be an INTP.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure about Mark Zuckerberg. I've not heard him talk enough or yet enough or whatever. But I like the quote. Is a joke, like he didn't actually say it, but if he were to actually have said that, that would be consistent with an INTP. If Mark Zuckerberg were an INTP, then he very well might make that exact joke.
The thing with him is that when he opened it up, when he sold the company, he sold it to people who didn't really know what they were doing with it, and that's why he's getting in trouble for like all this shit because, I mean, he knew, right? Like, but
I mean, Cloud, it's exceedingly plausible that he might have said that. Exceedingly plausible.
Yeah.
To say that anybody would be dumb or gullible for believing that was a Mark Zuckerberg quote is extremely dumb and gullible.
Exactly.
That's totally. If you understand smart people, you'd say, okay, he could totally have said that. It's
It's not the best representation, but it's a pretty good one because I remember when Facebook came out and there was a lot of controversy about him. I am not an ASFP.
Well, Rachel's INFJ, and she gets a certain amount of pushback from that. People give pushback to especially two types: INFJs and INTJs. I would say are probably the most likely to go. You're not yeah.
Me?
No, if you are an INFJ or an INTJ, you are more likely to hear you are not yeah.
Yes.
Than any other type is.
Yeah, because a lot of times they are mistyped.
Sure. I mean, the thing is, a lot of people are mistyped as ENTPs, but there's less of a general consensus or general whatever where people go, you're not an ENTP automatically, like they seem to do with INFJs and INTJs.
Yeah. I don't think that I'm starting to think that Zuckerberg is not an INTJ. He's an INTP. INTJs, like Bill Gates is INTJ.
Bacon, I don't. If I said that, it wouldn't be a brazen acknowledgement of anything. It would be saying it'd be a joke about the concept of people owning data. You can't steal data.
Everyone's knowledge is limited, and it's not the whole story. Of course, it's not the whole story. There's the truth. There's the one side, the other side, and then there's the truth. And I'm just saying that, like, Zuckerberg was like known for being an asshole during the trials when they were trying to sort out the dividends for Facebook shares.
That's more.
Boom.
The assholeliness could be either INTP or INTJ.
Yeah,
it's more commonly
it could be either.
But, think about Donald Fagan and his perfectionism regarding the mixes and stuff. He's INTP, but he had 200 some odd mixes of Babylon Sisters.
Yeah, so we'll see. We're gonna go. I just would like you to have a gander at the possibilities of who the characters behind Facebook are, and I think it's a really good representation because I lived in that era and I knew a lot about it, and I think they did a very good job representing what happened to Facebook during that time.
All right, so I want to shift topic a little bit to this behavior pattern and see if we can name it and kind of like figure it out. So one thing that Cloud does a lot, and he does it here, is he likes to talk about the limits of other people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you'll never be able to understand me, or you can't because of yours. You're stuck in your conformist world of lies and shit like that. So, what is that phenomenon when people are like, basically saying, I have a truth that I can't articulate, and your failure to listen attentively in hopes of learning is indicative of some fundamental inadequacy of you.
Is that like projection?
I mean, okay, so if it were projection, though, of course, if it were projection, it would be a self-defeating argument. Because if he really couldn't understand himself, then he wouldn't be able to project something of himself like that
onto you.
Yeah. So it would suggest that if it is projection, he's at least capable of understanding. So he's not really projecting an incapacity to understand.
Pigeonholing, that's the word.
Pigeonholing.
Yeah, pigeonholing. It's like it's like you trap the bird. I think that's like they corner you.
Well, I want to look up and see what the actual definition of pigeonholing is.
Yeah, I like that too.
Let me see if I can find the Ms.
Yeah.
Alice.
Well, I have a lighter.
How is that going to help us Google pigeonholing?
Ha ha ha! It was in your hands the whole time, no?
I'm looking for the mouse.
Oh, I
No,
don't know
like,
where the mouse is.
well, look, Eric, if you can't Google it, you could light it on fire. Where is the mouse?
Oh, there. By your
Ah, foot
foot.
mouse.
Foot mouse.
It's like floor weed kind
Yeah.
of.
It is. Eric cut my hair and I really like it. I think he did a really nice job.
Let's see, pigeonholing.
Sometimes the girl just needs a trim.
To assign to a particular category or class, especially in a manner that is too rigid or exclusive. It's like it's a form of boxing people, right? Like, but in Claude's case, it seems unusually reductive, like really making an effort to reduce people. But this is always the case when people try to box other people, like saying, oh, well, you're somebody who's not good at that kind of stuff, Eric. I remember when I was a kid, I used to fucking hate it when people would say that to me about anything. And it was true, even if I said it first, I said, oh, I'm not really good at this. And they said back to me later, well, you're not really very good at baseball. What do you mean I'm not good at baseball? Well, you said that to me. Well, I may have said that, but don't tell me I'm not good. You watch me be good at baseball. Fuck off. I'm going to go be good at baseball right now. It's just an example. Not actually baseball. It was not an actual example.
Thank you, Octavio Silva. I was holding up my hand. Fucker. Something I wanted to remember for Damn, I had a question. It's so annoying. I'm doing my makeup. I want to use my new eyeliner.
Yeah, we went to the Rite Aid to go shopping today because where else are you going to go shopping?
Yeah.
Rachel bought some makeups, but one of the makeups that she bought, and she got it back here, she opened the box, it was empty. Somebody had stolen the pencil from inside the box before she bought it, So we went back to Rite Aid and she exchanged it for one that had an actual makeup pencil in it. And it takes a while to come to conclusions, doesn't it? No, it doesn't really come to conclusions, okay? It either knows or it doesn't know. And that's the thing. If it doesn't know, it might know later.
Cloud's reductiveness.
Like when I ask Rachel questions, she gives me straightforward answers. There was an example just the other day, but the classic one I would refer to is when I asked you the definition of NI, but there was one just like yesterday. I asked you something, you gave me such a simple, straightforward answer. And it didn't take long. She knew clearly what the one best answer was right away and gave me a nice answer.
I like to give him those kind of answers. And if I'm not sure, I like to process. Cheetah's makeup, does it also like burn like fire on your tongue when you get those like the fire ones? Those are the best Cheetos, the crunchy fire. So good. Yeah, makeup. Here, I'll show you.
What company are you talking about?
It's called Dollface.
No, I'm talking to Ghostwriter.
Oh.
What company are you talking about? She says this company about it that it isn't safe and their customer service is closed. I lost $340. I want to know what she's talking about.
Yeah, what is that? Where's my bag of makeup that I put it in?
Maybe in the kitchen.
There, yeah.
That is a Bill Gates truther. Bill Gates truther is a funny term. Okay, but Cloud, nobody's really disputing. I don't know what it is you're claiming about Bill Gates, but it's not like people here are going, no, you're talking nonsense about Bill Gates or whatever. What exactly are you accusing him of? You just make sort of general accusations. You don't actually say he's done anything specific. Like he's out to get us is not something anybody's going to respond to because it's not specific. You know? Jeffree Star made a review of the Cheetos makeup. Cheetos makeup? Is that just ground up Cheetos used on your face? Hi, Eileen. You certainly are well loved, by the way. People ask about you all the time. Seriously, I like many live streams. People go, "Where's Eileen, man? Where's Eileen?"
Yeah,
I heard
where's
what?
she been?
She's here.
She is?
Yeah.
The
So,
Phoenix, yay!
so the point is, don't be a stranger. You have a home here.
This was the
This
one that
is
was stolen.
the eye pencil.
Yeah, so I opened it up and it was, and I took an Uber there and back.
It's called
Hey.
Doll Face.
Yeah, that's the brand. It's a really good liner.
It's also a name that feminists like to have used to describe women. Like
Hey,
my women's studies professor at the university said,
Stop.
"You can call me Dr. Stevens. You can call me Dollface, or one of those two is fine. Or you just call me tits and ass. That'd be fine.
TNA.
Yeah. Or giggles objectified. If I were a women's studies teacher, I'd ask the students to call me Giggles objectified.
Like that.
Tom Hanks is exposed, as well as most of Hollywood.
Of what?
They make a drug called adrenochrome from the adrenaline glands of children, from children's blood. They make them scared, so it increases the adrenaline. They scare children, extract their blood, and make a drug from it. People in Hollywood do this. Cloud, listen. If they want to do a drug that gives them lots of energy and enthusiasm and blah, blah, blah. But Cloud, listen, but seriously think. Just think for a second here, okay? Okay, but Cloud, but listen and think. Try to think for a second. If they want to do a drug that gives them all kinds of crazy energy and highs and all that, they have those drugs.
Mm-hmm.
They're called meth and cocaine.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like a lot of people, as a child, I tasted blood fairly often. I was always cutting myself, I don't remember it ever getting me high.
No.
We are having a very warm and reciprocal chat tonight.
Yeah. We should put a candle on.
Yeah, let's light a candle for.
See that.
Let's light a candle for. Let's have a candlelight vigil for Cloud's reason.
Let's have how about for our United States of America from coast to coast?
Yeah,
New
candlelight
York to
vigil.
California.
Candlelight vigil. Here we go.
And northeast, southwest.
America, tonight, I ask you to join me in this candlelight vigil in defense of intelligence and normalcy. For the past long time now, we have all been subject to the stupidity prompted by fear of COVID. We can learn from this experience and remember that we cannot sacrifice our prosperity, the engine of our well-being, or our way of life simply because there's a bad cold going around. For those awful people out there who want to critique this language as somehow irresponsible with people's lives, it's that sort of bad discourse that has created this fiasco. Now, sir or madam, if you wish to make any policy advocacy, you must make an impact calculus. You cannot simply point to the fact that you're predicting that you, on balance, are going to save a few lives with your advocacy and expect everybody to just fall in line.
Ooh.
The fact is, the impacts, long-term impacts of this global depression that has been initiated purposefully by the COVID alarmists, as a response to their reasonable fear, they've made an irrational public policy advocacy and not met any of the burdens for making a public policy advocacy. So, what am I saying to all those people? Hey, next time, listen to me. Okay? I told you.
That's so cute. Hey, I told you.
I did. I totally told you. Look, but here you want me to throw a wrench in this circle counting exercise? Watch this. There's a lot more circles than you thought.
Uh-oh.
Better hurry up and count them. Oh, those are the hidden circles. Now count them. Count the hidden circles. Now you can't, but you could if you have it in your memory.
Bruh, I know, right? Who may win? Her. Anne Frank, I was mesmerized by Anne Frank for a long time because in 6th grade when we learned about the Holocaust, I couldn't believe that anyone would kill anyone for over a lifestyle.
I didn't get it, CJ.
It burned me to the core.
Like this candle is burning away the lies of COVID from your heart. The latter one. Because underreaction is more or less impossible in this circumstance. The reason is because we can evaluate the strategy of solvency being applied as independently terrible, regardless of the problem. In other words, if my solution to something involves dumping shit tons of toxic waste into the ocean, then it's a bad solution. Period. We can evaluate in this instance that no matter how big the problem is, surely we can come up with a better solution than this clusterfuck of a disaster. And we should require ourselves to. We are more clever than this. We can be more smart than this. We have to acknowledge that, okay, the quarantine couldn't have worked because we didn't have one. Everyone's going to the store left and right. People are all crowded into a few stores instead of spread out amongst more stores. That's just reality. So either the social distancing thing worked, in which case we don't need the quarantine, or this thing was never as bad as people made it out to be in the first place, and people are getting it but not noticing it. No matter which of those options it is, we have to agree that we went about thinking about this wrong this time. Because if we think about it right next time, then over or underreaction won't be a problem. We'll be responsive in keeping with, as we ought to be responsive, the amount of data and what it indicates. That's the problem here. We acted out of ignorance. We appealed to ignorance fallacy and said, so we don't know how bad this might be. Let's overreact rather than underreact. You can never successfully catching June bugs. It's got June bugs. You can never successfully advocate for policy
I see.
by appealing to ignorance and
She's
expect it to
not
turn
gonna
out well.
get. I don't want her to cut anymore.
I know. Yeah.
I'll be on top of that. I don't mind scolding. for that.
Okay. Maybe I could like put like tape around the hole to stop it from opening more, or something like duct tape, or
Mhm.
something like that.
No, well, she was like, yeah, she wanted one so bad. She was gonna reach and make another hole, and I was like, nuh-uh. It's okay. She was playing.
Well, look, Cloud, there's no doubt that there are bad people in the world who exploit positions of wealth and power to harm others for their own pleasure. Such people exist. Okay? Such individuals exist.
It's important to know them.
Remember, Cloud, we're talking about individuals. Hollywood is overrun by pedos. What makes you think that? Now, look, obviously, to the extent that
Now
Pet-
we're getting real.
pedos exist
Mhm.
in a group of people, and one is exposed or more, that is going to be maximally understood culture-wide when the person who's guilty of it is more famous, and less understood when the person who's guilty of it is less famous, right? The more celebrity somebody has, the more news their behavior makes. So is it the case that we hear more about sexually bad behavior of various sorts, Me Too stuff, or pedo stuff, or whatever?
Separatism stuff.
Is it true that we hear more about awful behavior about people who are rich and famous? Yeah, because unless that awful behavior reaches a level of appalling the conscience, like a home in Ohio where they've kept a bunch of their children in cages for years or something, that would make national news. But normal appalling bad behavior like date rape or just rape is not going to generally make the news unless a famous person's involved in it, a celebrity of some sort. So if now it might make the news if it's like the Night Stalker back in LA back in the day, the 80s, where there was a series of crimes, one after another. There was a different house was getting broken into every night, and somebody was getting raped. And okay, that might make the news. But most sexual assaults, nobody ever hears about them at all. And the exception to that is if you're rich and famous. Then there's both a platform that will hear your grievances if your grievances are legitimate. There's a platform that will incentivize your grievances if your grievances are not legitimate. And there's a audience that will consume information about that person, regardless of what the information is, and maximally so when that person is a celebrity. So naturally, Cloud, you're going to draw the sort of pattern-based conclusion you're drawing if you're working with the patterns clumsily. You got to be deft in these things. You got to consider there's a lot of other factors. That's any stuff. It's, you can't just, NI DOMs have a more nuanced way of doing NI than the other NI types. Other NI types can sometimes frustrate me with their jumping to, like Teal Swan's NI overload. Her demonization of the past and previous experiences. I heard nothing from her indicating that previous experiences that were positive were important in building the self.
Mm-mm.
But plenty about previous experiences that are negative are important to either treat, get rid of, resolve, whatever, something like that.
Accept.
So obviously her frame about the past and SI in general is quite negative. When she talks about being successful, she talks about applying yourself, persistence, stick-to-itiveness, one direction towards a single goal.
Yeah.
Very TE and also SI polar. For people who experience their knowledge through their personal experience and impressions and stuff, then of course we're not going to have the same kind of willingness to ignore pain, discomfort, other possibilities, and so forth in order to prioritize a singular goal. Like TS1 seems to think that choosing to be me is wrong,
Yeah.
or being me, whether I choose it or not.
It's
is
better
wrong.
to be more like her, right?
Yeah, she would seem to say that. Now,
Yeah, she she didn't see that, but that is what she.
No, I would say she would seem to say that.
Right, exactly.
You might say also, I would even say being more like me is better than being more like her. So you might accuse me of the same thing here again. The difference is I include a lot more of an individualist approach than she does. So I don't generally try to overgeneralize my own shit to other people that much.
I have a question. Can we look at what Kira was saying? Yeah, but girls shouldn't have to do that. Shouldn't have to do that. Shouldn't have to do what?
Be sitting down.
I'm
They don't
always
have
wondering.
to, but then it drifts down their legs.
Yeah.
All right, it's all around where I live. There are a lot of 40-plus men continue to pursue me when I tell them I'm in high school.
That doesn't matter. It's no. They have to hear. Or I'm not interested. It's not appropriate.
Yeah, it's very inappropriate for sure. Girls shouldn't have to do that.
No,
So
they
girls
shouldn't
have to do what specifically?
I guess respond to catcalls.
Let's see. Oh, wear baggy
okay.
clothes.
Oh, a lot of people do. I read an article that claimed that that's why what's her name? Billie Eilish wears baggy clothes because she doesn't want her body to be scrutinized sexually.
I mean, the thing is about girls shouldn't have to do that. They don't have to do that. But the tricky thing about it is, I had my daughter take the opposite approach, right? My daughter took the approach.
But I don't want her to.
Then close it. If you can close the glass door, and then she won't be able to go in and out of that hole right now. That's a simple.
No, I don't care about her going out and up and down the hole, but sometimes a Junebug will go on the top and she'll like club.
She's not gonna.
It's all right. It's fine. It's fine. I know. I'm thinking about too much.
Okay, so Delilah took the opposite approach, which is she would go out in skimpy-ish clothes, not super skimpy, but skimpy-ish. And her position was, if somebody would like catcall her or whatever, she would tend to bust out the middle fingers and scream at them something, or otherwise just be like, "Oh fuck no!" She's very like, hold me back. So
I like that about her.
She took that approach. One thing I would say about it is that neither of those positions, it's like,
yeah.
You shouldn't have to wear baggy clothes, but you shouldn't have to not wear suggestive clothes. And if you want to wear suggestive clothes, it's because they work on some level, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, like I have side boob right now.
You can't have it both ways. And
there's gray.
And everybody, unfortunately, is within the same reality of being sexually reproductive mammals who find the other opposite sex, or sometimes the same sex, to be horniness inducing, I guess, or desirable in some sense.
What storms going on in your family, Hambone? is it hard with like everyone being together at the house like for this amount of time? We're lucky. We get along. Not every family household gets along, and you have to live with them, for a certain amount of time. There's not many places you can go.
Well, Ambo, I think Jess came back. Why are you referring to yourself as good Eileen? Doesn't it kind of imply that she's bad Eileen?
How rude.
How
Did you just
rude.
burn yourself?
No, I almost knocked over the ball.
Oh my gosh, but got your
With my
oh that's good
careless ways. Careless ways.
too.
Careless ways.
They're like
It's the intuitives every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that Kitty is definitely going to tear the fuck out of that screen. Kitty, stop it!
I want to hear it from your dad. That's what I'm trying to.
Yeah. You know what? Just say it directly because you're right. Of course, I don't want to hear it from my dad either. I already heard it from him.
I know.
Son, you know how much that screen cost?
Oh, I know.
Like it was that cat, Dad.
I
What
know.
do you mean?
Yeah, but he doesn't care.
I know he's TE, so.
Bird poop and the thing's a big deal, and the whole he has cares of animal. There's no bird nest either. No nests.
Not well, certain spots that he doesn't allow.
Yeah. I really like this.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah. Nighttime. I don't wanna.
Nighttime is the right time for fight time. Are you consuming alcohol, Hambo? You know that's the devil's blood, right? The devil's spit. Devil's dew.
Devil spit on your poo.
What's the antithesis of Christ's philosophy? I'm curious. Forgive no one. That would be the opposite, I guess, right? Forgive no one, you're all damn sinners forever. Get down there in the torture mines. We're mining torture. I'm sorry about your knee, precious wonder. Every time Rachel crosses her knee, she goes, would you like me to get you some aloe?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
My pleasure, darling. Let me get my Spyderco so I can chop off a little piece more cleanly than ripping it off.
Looks good.
Yes, with the application of more aloe, also known as aloe, you will see a marked improvement on that wound. You will learn the true meaning of Christmas. When Christmas has a meaning that's true, at Christmas you didn't know what to do.
It is so nice.
It's as nice as a bowl of rice.
I've been having to eat this.
You want me to put this on out there or what? Let me finish this cigarette before I put it on there, okay?
Okay.
Aloe is one of the things in life that cures just about anything. If you have a problem, a health problem that you can put aloe on, it'll cure it. Thing is, a lot of your health problems that are inside your body are a little more challenging to put aloe on them. Well, Countess, I don't like that kind of explanation. And I don't mind Cloud's provocativeness at all. I can also say there's a difference, and it seems to correlate with his level of frustration as to whether he's being provocative about stuff or provocative about people. Generally, he tries to be provocative about stuff. When that doesn't work, he gets a little bit more provocative about people. So it's like that whole, when he's frustrated with me, he'll go into, Eric, you just don't understand. You're ignorant, Eric. You are just basically try to say, I as a person lack the capacity to attain his level of understanding on some specific point or in general. I'm not pushing a narrative. I'm responding. In fact, I am pushing a narrative, but it's not the narrative you think I'm pushing. But it's only partially the narrative you think I'm pushing. It's like the narrative I'm pushing is that I don't like the idea of you being dismissed as simply a product of your dad not paying attention to you. That seems productive to me. I have no idea if your dad paid attention to you or not, but I don't like that kind of explanation. It might be the case, but I don't know. It may simply be that your provocative nature is a phase right now. You could grow out of it. It could be that it's just the natural incarnation of ESFP in this environment, which is very it's extremely difficult environment for a person with your sex to interface with in the way in the way in which interface is being done in general. But you've found a way to interface, and sometimes it's more or less legitimately provocative. What you looking for, Rach?
I'm gonna remember.
We really have had that kind of day, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been able to remember what I was thinking of 5 seconds ago. It's like, too hard. Luis Tizan says, I'm pretty sure God's pro-human.
Yeah.
Would you say God's a secular humanist? That's such a surprise. So what religion are you, God? I imagine God being interviewed, right? So, okay, we want to know, God, what religion are you? Actually, I'm a secular humanist.
Right?
Hilarious. Those two guys who did that show. Remember that show that used to be on ESPN? The two guys, it was like a comedy-ish show.
Mm-hmm.
There were two brothers, and
Oh, yeah.
one of them would say, hilarious.
Yep. My brother knows that. He likes that.
I like
he used
that
to say
show,
that a lot, yeah. Hilarious.
Hilarious.
Exactly like that.
I am movement, Theosophical Movement, Chicago, 30s Guy W. Ballard. I am who I am.
Mm-hmm.
God said that to Moses. I am who I am. Or somebody who speaks in tautologies? That's not very helpful, God. That does not add. That is not.
You tell him.
That does not make progress in this narrative at all. Okay, I am who I am. Come on now. Popeye? Are you Popeye? I think Popeye said that too.
What's that flame, buddy?
I'm watching it.
Oh, I love it when Ian TP looks at himself lovingly.
Let's shift gears and have a pleasant conversation about pleasant stuff now, okay? Because I think, you know what, this has been a great stream. But we've been a little too ideational here. I want to talk about some ordinary, regular things, okay? Just so we can all just settle into the wonderful world of whimsy. Okay, things that are whimsical. I'm talking today about things that have whimsy. So, you know, this is kind of whimsical, right here. Look at how they wrote this word. Look at it. Look at that font. Isn't that a whimsical font? Wonderland, it says. There's a lot of whimsy in here. A lot of whimsy.
Why is it? What makes it whimsical?
What does make this whimsical? Well, I think it's the chubby little letters. They're just adorable chubby little letters. And look what they've done. They've made the letters L-A extra big in a different color.
Yeah.
Because where is this located? Where is this Wonderland located? Louisiana. Oh, no, Los Angeles, I mean. That is whimsical. Okay, let's talk about other things that are whimsical. Gene Simmons. How whimsical is Gene Simmons?
Yeah.
I'm not sure he's that whimsical, really, but he wants to be whimsical. I think it's fair to say he does want to be whimsical. Yeah. I want to tell you what's not whimsical. A contusion on your knee. Okay, so today we're going to be doing contusion treatment tips with Eric. I'm your banal host, Eric, talking about regular things. And today we're talking about contusion treatment. Now I've got a volunteer here, and she has volunteered to incur a knee contusion by purposefully crashing her bike knee first into the cement. Thank you very much for your sacrifice in that area, my volunteer subject here. You can see here what we got. I want to show Rachel's skirt. We can see here that we've got a knee contusion. Looks bad, doesn't it? Not good. Contusion treatment. All right, now, if I can just put this here.
Some of those are pieces of Band-Aid.
A little bit of pieces of Band-Aid.
Yeah,
there.
okay. A little.
There, now,
Yeah,
look at this
mostly
contusion
it.
treatment.
Yeah.
What I've got
Oh
here.
my gosh, look at her legs. They're like shapes.
Aloe.
Aloe. Ah, so cooling.
That's like a cool breeze. Like an INFJ for your wound.
Yeah.
Let me get the other piece. That piece now has some of the spirit energy of your wound on it. So this is a clean piece. There you go. Now
No,
that's what I call. Rachel, I'm going to ask you, please,
thank you so much.
to not put a Band-Aid on yet.
Oh, okay.
I think you're going to be most well served by just leaving the aloe dry out first.
Okay.
Don't forget the salt.
Ooh, that hurts so much.
That's a terrible idea. Okay, who hired this woman as school nurse? You know what she's been treating the kids' wounds with? Salt and lemon juice.
That ain't good.
She told one boy who broke both of his legs to rub some dirt on it. Good tree cannot grow a rotten fruit, nor a bad tree can grow a good fruit. Okay, so what are you saying? Am I a good tree or a bad tree? Or I'm not sure you're talking about me, but
Who's talking about who?
oh, I see. You recognize people by their fruits.
Oh, Cloud.
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 Okay, I mean, sort of, but a lot of people's fruits you can't see. Most people's fruits you can't see. Like, let's say your name's Joe and you're living in Bishop, California, where Kimberly now lives. You cannot see the fruits that she's grew on her from her tree there. You can't see the damage that she did to various people because they're not in her life anymore. You see what I'm saying?
Good. Look at his handsome face.
Cloud, what does that have to do with what I just said at all? I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. I know she moved to Bishop. I wish her well. I hope she's happy. I hope she's good and whatever. I don't have ill will towards Kimberly. Hambone, stop giving terrible advice. Tori Brown. Now, I have a very different general attitude towards that one. My attitude towards her is very different than towards Kimberly, who once she left my life, I've not heard a peep from her. She's not trying to be a spite monkey. She's not.
That's because that's for her.
This is for her. This is for Kimberly.
Because you wished well for her.
I did wish well for her. I don't think she's a bad human being. I think she was.
Careful, kitty.
I think she's not. At least, I don't want to dismiss her or anything, but I would say, from my experience, she's probably not. It's not a good idea for her to be in a one-on-one relationship.
Right now, anyway.
Right, yeah. Like I said, I don't want to dismiss her. But from my experience,
exactly what you're saying.
that there's a certain amount of ability to trust that's required to be successfully in a healthy relationship, as far as I can tell. I could be wrong about that. I can't imagine all possibilities, but as far as I can tell, you gotta have a certain capacity to trust. It may be that she could trust somebody else a lot better than me because I guess I've been told by others I'm kind of intimidating. And that may have triggered her more than somebody who's weak-willed would trigger her.
You're vivacious, extroverted, gracious, fiery. You do get fiery when you're worked up.
I do. Get fiery. And the thing is, it's true, but I lament the fact that the narrative is such that Kimberly is my abusive ex. It's more properly to say that she is my ex who had attachment disorder. Did that make her abusive? Yeah, it did. So I mean, what can I say? But she's not a bad person to other people besides me or her relationship partner. And that's what I always want to stress with her and not badmouth her, because she's really good with animals. She'll save any animal that's hurting at all. And to me, that speaks highly of a person to some degree, extent, at least. Yes.
The box of RC Cola is empty. Is it in there as a reminder, or is it in? Okay.
No, it's in there because I didn't throw it away like I should. Thank you, darling. That'd be wonderful.
Okay. Well, I was going to, but I'm not going to now. I mean, if I go to
sure. So Candace said, I was wondering, maybe you guys don't understand each other, so it makes it look like the relationship is abusive. That's the sort of thing that there's a sort of arguments I made for a long time. that I tried to find lots of different ways to work my way from this increasingly disastrous misadventure into a healthy relationship. And at the end of the day, my objective analysis of it could not be denied that here I was taking a great deal of care in my communications with okay, I can't get distracted. I will address this other thing in a second. So the bottom line is, when I came out of that relationship, understanding was something I didn't understand before. I had previously gotten the idea that that there were, how you should treat people in your relationship, but I hadn't really gotten a super clear idea of how you ought not make deal with the other person in your relationship in full. So what I mean by that is, I never actually been put in a position where I had to resist the temptation, as I did all the time with Kimberly. Even when I was screaming at the top of my lungs, I was not hitting below the belt. Well, I think Kimberly did that briefly at the very start of the breakup, but I think she abandoned that almost immediately. So, for example, there was a live stream that the only live stream ever where a troll has come in and made me quit. And that was fairly shortly after the breakup, and it was Kimberly who came in and started trolling me. And I just said, okay, you win.
I remember that.
You made me depressed, and no, this isn't fun anymore. I'm quitting now.
And you were living there.
No, I don't think I was.
Oh. I thought you were in the garage.
No, I'm pretty sure I was here. The thing is, after that happened, I never heard anything from her again. I think she realized that it wasn't going to play well, but also she was really mad,
Yeah, she got out.
Yeah, and the thing is, she's not fundamentally vindictive. Now, in contrast, I've had a couple of other parties that have felt hurt by me in some way and have proved themselves to be extraordinarily vindictive, spiteful, and downright malevolent.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly I've found that to be the case with the WC, as they call her. Or W stands for hoary, and C stands for clown. The WC has been just almost the dictionary definition of toxic and cancerous and awful.
What's been going on lately? Do you know?
Well, I mean, it wasn't that long ago, a couple weeks on my birthday, that she came around and said she just.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can always, and she makes a point of making it clear that it's her, because she always includes like Brown in this new identity name she has or whatever. I mean, all the more reason to be steadfast in my rejection of those behaviors. Maybe she has been through some things that she needed to escape from. She just needs to be shown some kindness. Oh, okay. Countess, I dealt with that girl in Spacey for quite a while before she destroyed that.
Are they still together?
I don't know. That's what somebody's saying is maybe they're not sure. But the point is, no, it's in my position. Light bulb has it at the moment, or has the admin stuff on it.
Okay, so no one knows basically.
I'm not sure if anybody knows what's going on with them, but what I do know is one of the things that just drove home. I mean, I have my intuition about this, what happened. I have no way to prove that this is exactly what happened, but around Christmas time, Rachel had an episode in which she had to be hospitalized, and I got to see what an actual manifestation or display of real mental illness looks like.
Remembers. Thanks, people.
Not that long after that,
you.
and a note that as Rachel was going off the rails, Tori texted her, trying to get her to meet with Tori and Spacey, independently of me, because they knew how I was manipulating her and controlling her and letting her have no privacy and stuff, that kind of stuff, right? Shortly after that whole thing went down, and here was the problem that she had in that instance. So her awfulness wasn't a central narrative at all, but her awfulness during that period of time came out during my discussion of that whole episode and all the challenges with that. Now, anybody who was there and watching those series of videos when Rachel was hospitalized and stuff at Christmas can see very clearly that in no way, shape, or form was I an awful. Well, hold on, I'm getting to that part. Okay, so in no way, shape, or form was I awful, exploitative, or whatever.
No.
I wasn't any of those things.
No, not at all.
And
With me during that time?
towards you, right?
No, not at all.
And so, but the problem is, Tori had tried to take advantage of Rachel's mental instability at that moment to get her to talk shit about me.
Yeah,
and
but I told you, right?
Yeah, well, sure. In the process, one of the things that she said was she didn't want to talk to Rachel unless Rachel was interested in hearing negative things about me. So I was like, okay, well, Jesus, what an awful person. Anyway, shortly after all that shit went down, and the attacks that the Spite Monkeys had been launching against my relationship with Rachel that were based in this fundamental lie that somehow I was controlling and didn't respect women and treated them like whatever. Oh yeah, she was regular, I'm sure. So okay, after that happened, her lies about me being a misogynist and thinking, I'm talking about Planet Catch's video. I don't know what you're talking about. So after those sort of lies fell apart, obviously I'm not this awful human being who's exploiting Rachel, doesn't care about her, will toss her aside and whatever other things they were saying. Nor am I this controlling person who's always invading her privacy and looking at her stuff and only letting her have her phone. It's like those lies about me. They weren't working at all. It's pretty obvious those don't work. Anyway, shortly after that, she posted in the Talking with Famous People Facebook group this post about her needing to go to the mental hospital and stuff. I can read it to you because I have a picture of it. Note, there's no sense of self-check regarding the fact that she's putting shit in my Facebook, it's like a channel's Facebook group, but supposedly hates me so much. Like, why does that not create some sort of cognitive dissonance? I don't know. So this is Tori's post in the technical physical group,
Oh yeah.
January 21st. So, less than a month after Rachel done with the hospital and back in New York, I wanted to share my hubby's new video on his channel, just updating y'all on how we've been doing. Mental health is definitely the topic of the year for us so far. And I thought I'd reach out and say I won't be available for the next 7 to 10 days because I'll be admitted to a local mental hospital. No new symptoms or events have happened to me, but I have to get intensive care due to severe psychological and physical trauma I grew up with. I'm finally getting the care that I need. Then she talks about how she wants people to call Spacey and keep him company while she's in the hospital. Well, I did call Spacey, actually. And what I learned was she answered those questions like, do you think about hurting yourselves or others? Those kind of questions. She answered them in order to get herself involuntarily admitted in such a way as to get herself involuntarily admitted. And the thing is, Rachel never, ever would say, yes, I'm concerned about hurting myself or others.
Oh my god.
She
to
never
get
answered
into a place.
She
would never.
Rachel wants more than anything in the world to stay out of mental hospital forevermore.
Mm-hmm.
But Tori
Like-
wants to go into one. Because why? Because she felt as though, this is my intuition on it, because she felt as though our dealing with a real life problem somehow gave us and me specifically a narrative advantage. And she wanted to claim it for herself as well. I honestly, that's my intuition
I
tells
think
me.
you're right. I think you're right on the money.
And it's just like, okay, this girl is terrible.
Yeah, that's not right. That's not right. That's like she's being a backhanded friend too. Like I'm giving her all this information about me during a panic moment, and then she's like, "Oh, it worked for them, so it'll work for me." It was tragic for me. It was terrifying as well. And being in a hospital is no joke. Like there are people who do like admit themselves because they really do like need to be there, but it doesn't seem like it didn't seem as important for some reason. It didn't seem like it was an emergency to me from what she was saying.
Wait, she says not an emergency at all. No new symptoms or events have occurred. Well, then why is she getting forcibly admitted to the hospital for 7 to 10 days? Because she purposely answered the questions so that they would do that to her. When I talked to Spacey, and we didn't talk long. Basically, what I learned from Spacey was that, I'm like, Spacey, it's sad to me not to talk to you ever again. And
Well, it doesn't
like, well,
have to
sometimes
be
things
every
don't. Sometimes relationships just don't persist. It's
Yeah.
like, well, okay, whatever.
Yeah, well, maybe you guys could be friends again someday.
Yeah, well,
another time.
once he jettisons
exactly.
the toxic
Right.
waste dump around his
Right.
neck.
What's my diagnosis? I've been diagnosed as bipolar. With the manic, not manic depressive. My phone.
Yeah, I've heard about this video, I think, by Becky, some sort of Becky video analyzing how awful it must be to be with me and how she knows what I'm like and stuff. Apparently, it doesn't really say anything except she knows what I'm like. Because, man, I'm not gonna waste my time watching it. I mean, the thing about Becky, of course, is she lost any possible legitimacy in anyone's eyes when she emailed my dad a bunch of times, to defame me to him out of just spite. That's all, just spite. The only reason, So, as far as I'm concerned, if I heard somebody did that and knew the specifics enough to realize that that's exactly what it was, this incredibly spiteful person emailing my elderly father. Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, no relationship, as far as I'm concerned, has to go down the toilet. Yeah, some people choose to go with the dark side, you know, and they have to live with the consequences of that. This is a separate building, Octavio. This is the grandparents' house out back. It's got the main living area and this little kitchen area here and a patio out here. And then there's like a pathway that separates this part from the other part. Okay, well, listen, I am totally interested and totally okay in hearing any legitimate critiques about my bad behavior as a relationship partner. This is why Becky will always fail. To the extent that she made good points. No, you're saying Becky made good points of critique about me. I want to know what they are so I can learn from them or disagree with them. And I'm not interested in fighting to say I'm always right or that she doesn't have any good points. In fact, I've many times said Becky's quite insightful and said many helpful things to me in the past. That's how we can tell the good guys from the bad guys. Well, you're the one. No, I'm not asking you about the video. I'm asking you. You made the claim that you heard a couple of good points. So I'd like you to explain to me which good points you've taken away from that. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to support her in any way. Okay, so Hambone says that Becky implied that I was holding Rachel hostage and not letting her break up with me. I mean, Rachel?
What?
Did you hear that? No?
No.
Becky's central claim that apparently is that I was somehow holding you hostage
Hostage?
and not letting you break up with me.
No way. What?
Oh, the good point is you don't need a reason to leave a relationship. That's true. I've never told Rachel she has to have a good reason to leave the relationship. I've told her what's a deal breaker for me is I need to know my partner is in it long term, permanently, or whatever.
Yeah.
If she's not like that, then we're not, whatever. That's her prerogative. I'm not trying to force anything on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Quite the opposite. I'm saying, hey, I want you to want to be in this relationship.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be in this relationship, there's the door.
Yeah.
No, I was never in a relationship with Becky. She was a friend and a community member who couldn't stand being held accountable. I mean, that's the sort of thing she tried to imply that at one point that I was somehow attracted to her, had the hots for her, or jealous of her, or something. The only person she was able to convince of that briefly was Taylor, because it was Force Slot and I. Of course, once anybody thought about it at all and looked at the actual videos or listened to me talk about them, from the very get-go, I made clear, like, one interesting thing about Becky was this weirdly like siblingish feeling I had towards her. Like, I could objectively note that she was an attractive enough female, but I didn't see her as such at all. There was no inclination. So what you mentioned is your Adderall use and how Rachel felt about being with you when your personality changed from being on and off, in my opinion, is that you should be consistent in behavior. Well, I mean, that's a reasonably fair critique, I guess. The thing is, I do change in my personality somewhat when I'm on Adderall, and it's also true that I'm, I guess, somewhat less loving on Adderall, like actively loving. But the thing to remember, Ghostwriter, is that's where the misrepresentation comes in. Rachel is not having to deal with me having a lot of ups and downs. I'm on Adderall, but I'm not very volatile. You know, I'm actually quite consistent in my responses to things,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of whether I'm on it or not.
Yep. He's more consistent than I am.
So it's like, it doesn't matter what or if any drug I'm on, certain things will piss me off. And they'll piss me off no matter what. And in general, I'm very easygoing. And I'm easygoing no matter what, whether I'm on Adderall or not. I like to think I'm easy to be with. I've heard from every woman I've ever been with, including Rachel, that I am somewhat difficult to be with. I accept that reality.
Yeah, but I'm pretty difficult too. I'm very intense. I am very crazy about fairness.
I mean,
But I love you.
this is the thing, Countess, and Ghost Rider as well. It's you have to think about it like this. If you've got variance in your affect that's like this, that's a problem. Because variance in the affect means unpredictability, and unpredictability is kind of difficult to tolerate. And I'm saying, yeah, I have a lot of variance. But my variance is like this. So just because we use the same word for it doesn't mean it's the same thing. I'm not volatile. I'm quite predictable. Rachel will confirm that I, by and large, don't make mistakes out of anger. I don't hit below the belt. I don't say things I regret saying.
No. Well, sometimes you are very careful.
There's almost always a reason that someone would leave a relationship, ranging from not loving the other person anymore to domestic violence problems, and the other person deserves to know why, but they can't impede the other from leaving. I have never tried to impede Rachel from leaving. There have been a few fights where we've played chicken.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. I'm packing my bags. It's fine. I'm taking you to the train station, Rachel. Remember?
That is playing chicken. Yeah.
No, I would not try to prevent her. The reality is,
I'm 35, so like I'm still young, and when we first started going out, I was fresh out of some like really bad situations, so I'm still healing, and I have been saying that for quite some time now.
and I've made a few mistakes in this relationship because of my own damage and healing processes, which is to say, I've allowed myself to frame narratives for my own insecurities and fears when I ought to have accepted the truth of things instead. Okay, but see, that's then at that point, Ghost Rider, you're not talking about a legitimate critique, right? At that point, you've internalized from her a really devious kind of lie that because a person's standard norm involves frequency, vacillations, that they're fundamentally unpredictable and bad. Now that's just, look, it's true that I'm most well served by going on cycles of being on Adderall and off. It's important for me to have productive periods, and it's important for me to have unproductive periods as well. That is the best manifestation of myself. Rachel loves me. And that includes, you're right, Ghost Rider, we did talk about it. It was a subject of conversation. The point is, at that moment, Rachel was having an episode because she was shifting meds. She had stopped taking the one med and it was a day off, and before she started taking the other med, she hadn't slept in days, and she felt as though she was being less attended to me during those few days of my working. But the other thing to remember, Ghost Rider, is it would have been exactly the same thing had I been off actually at a job. No difference. Same thing.
True.
When Countess or Ghost Rider or anybody else is talking about side effects of my drug, what you really should say is part of who Eric is. Because you're being really ontologically assaultive. The fact that I take those medications and have incorporated that into my ontology does not make my ontology fundamentally less legitimate than yours or anybody else's.
Mm.
It doesn't make my state of being, because I'm on those meds some of the time and not, less correct than to not be on them at all. Not good to develop dependency, though. I'm not dependent on those drugs. Obviously, I would, if I were dependent on them, I wouldn't go on 2 weeks, off 2 weeks, on 2 weeks, off 2 weeks, right? That's not addiction. That's not dependency. That's choosing to manage my ontology with a certain chemical element that legitimately has a positive impact on my life. I'm not even trying to normalize drugs here. I'm saying you've internalized some false assumptions that are going to allow you to justify to yourself reducing me in ways that are fundamentally bad. So you're wrong about the Adderall. Yes, Rachel and I had a fight around that topic, but it was really about Rachel getting accustomed to the fact that not always can I pay full attention to her. Sometimes I gotta work. You know, she's got there's no disputing the fact she's got a much tougher road to hoe here than I do. She's coming into somebody else's life. You know, she's become part of my life. I did not become part of hers. Mm-hmm. And so this
is what's happening right now.
And so that's a stressor, you know? That's a much bigger stressor on her than on me. I gotta get another beer. Do you want another one?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Wait, what are you saying? What are you skeptical about, CJ? That's sad. I'm sad about Wendy's handball. That sucks. What is CJ trying to say?
Is somebody behind the mirror?
I'm saying I take meds, but I'm skeptical about their officially chemical amounts. Yeah, I don't think that's unwise. I think that's wise to be skeptical, you know?
Where was it?
I'm trying out my meds right now too, honestly, right? When you say I want to trial and error, hey, where's the beer?
Right there, but I'm looking for the opener.
Oh.
Here's the thing. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I'm skeptical about the meds because I don't believe myself to be treating anything. I'm not taking medication to treat something. I am taking advantage of my ability to optimize my life with this chemical.
Oh.
You know, so for me, it's different. Rachel's actually treating something. Maybe you are too, whoever else was saying that. But I don't really think of myself as treating anything at all. I'm living as I want to live, which is to say, I prefer to have this cycle of extra productivity and then extra sloth. I like both sides of it.
Me too.
So what's wrong with that? Why should that be considered a bad thing at all? I mean, maybe we'd be better off saying, Ghostwriter, the problem is you aren't doing drugs like I'm doing drugs. Would you like it if I said that? Maybe then you'd be more successful in relationships if you did drugs like I did drugs. Well, no, you wouldn't think that was a good thing to say. You would go, what? Well, I say the same thing about what you're saying. What? That's not a problem. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Do you think I could have gotten this girlfriend at all without Adderall? Probably not. I wouldn't have gotten nearly as much work done. I wouldn't have been impressive enough. You know? What do you mean hashtag tangent? How is that a tangent, Ghostwriter? It's not okay. Look, it may be useless to argue about if my goal is to convince you. What I want to make sure everybody understands is there will be rhetorical consequences to expressing your false assumptions if those false assumptions are about the legitimacy of somebody linking to their drug use. It's a personal issue for me. So I may not convince you, but I'm going to make sure you understand that you're wrong. You might not agree with that. I'm going to make sure that you understand that I'm not going to tolerate wrongness in that area. So next time you bring it, you better not be weak ass shit.
Boom.
They aren't false. I mean, denial about being an addict. Okay, so let's say I'm addicted to Adderall, which by any meaningful definition of the word, I'm not. But let's just say I am. Why does that fundamentally delegitimize it? I'm addicted to cigarettes. Does that make me less legitimate as a person? Why? No, I'm not trying to spin circles to avoid that truth, Ghost Rider. Remember, I'm somebody who deals with those kind of truths really well. That's why I quit drinking entirely, because I had to accept the truth of it. That's why I have a good contrast. I can tell what it's like to use drugs unhealthily because I've done it. I've been there. I've been a meth addict. I've been an alcoholic. And I can tell you what it looks like to use drugs well and successfully because I've done that too. Now, if you can't understand that that contrast is pretty determinant in the matter and that my experience is the only data that really matters here, then you're being wicked. You're being willfully wicked at that point. Because what I'm telling you is clearly the truth. I've not wavered from it in any of these 5 or 6 years that I have been live streaming. Ever since I quit alcohol, haven't wavered in it at all. Now, note, before I quit alcohol, I was very unclear about what the problem was. I used to blame all the drugs. Oh, maybe it's the speed that's the problem. Maybe it's the weed that's the problem. Maybe it's the man that's the problem.
Who told you that?
Just like type. Once you get it right, you don't question it anymore.
Well, I did.
Once you get it right, I said.
Oh, yeah.
Once you get it right and it sits in, you realize, this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's so nice.
Then you're not worried about other people's wrongness. Like I'm not worried about your wrongness possibly having a shred of rightness to it at all. I know myself, my life. I've lived my life for 49 years. I've been addicted to various things. I have an actual nuanced, depth understanding of the matter. I also understand that everybody always necessarily has what are called temporal bargaining issues. For some people, it relates to drugs. For others, gambling, sex, whatever. Or maybe just imposing your assumptions on other people. Maybe that's your drug. I don't know. I'm not talking circles. If you can't accept the reality that these words are compelling, powerful, and true, then you're not interested in communicating. Game, set, match? Game, set, match. Thanks for being here, everybody. Talk to you later.